Miami lifestyle influencer Ashlee Jenae, real name Ashlee Robinson, 31, was found dead in a luxury resort in Tanzania, Zanzibar, just days after celebrating her 31st birthday and becoming engaged to her fiance, Joe McCann. The couple had traveled to the African nation for what appeared to be a joyful vacation filled with safari experiences and celebrations, with Janae sharing positive moments on social media shortly before her death. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Voices of the Internet. Today, I want to talk about a story that I've been following for the past week or so regarding the recent death of Ashlee Robinson, better known online as Ashlee Jenae. So, Ashlee Jenae is a Miami based, or was a Miami based social media influencer, blogger, etc. And her boyfriend, Joe McCann, who she was partners with for the past year plus, they decided to go to Africa in Tanzania to celebrate Ashlee's 31st birthday. In the photos, you can see that Ashlee and Joe had a great, amazing, probably high class, expensive flight there using the Emirates airline. And in the photos, you can see they're having some great food. It looks like they're having a great time, enjoying each other's company. They arrive and boom, they're doing the whole safari park thing. They're with animals. They're taking beautiful photos. They're looking like everything a great couple. They're looking like a great couple, like a great couple should. Like a beautiful couple, interracial, that may or may not have some part and may or may not have some weight in regards to what happened. And I can bring that up again later to talk about that. So they get to Africa. They're taking all these photos. It's her 31st birthday. She's not too much younger than myself. And shortly after her birthday, Joe decides, in the most elegant way, as the lion, a beautiful white lion, is walking by, he decides to get down and propose to Ashlee. So one would think that this is like a dream story. This is like a beautiful romantic getaway that anyone would want something like this. This guy, Joe, is the head of a crypto company. Let's see, it's a venture capital company that invests in crypto. So this guy, from what it seems, has a lot of money to spend on himself and apparently on Ashlee. And you would think, from in one way, that Ashlee scored big. She's landed this guy who, he looks like a decent looking guy. He seems to have his wealth in order. He is the head of this venture capitalist company and investing in cryptos, which, if you know anything about crypto, you know that can be highly profitable if you make the right moves. I don't want to go into that because there's a whole other side of that too, which kind of involves itself when you look at the history of this man and his company and some of the seemingly shady-ish business practices this guy has, that's been in this guy's path in the past. So anyway, to continue, so him and Ashlee are having this beautiful marriage proposal. He gets down on the knee and he says, "Will you be my wife?" And so right there you go. Now he's her fiance. So days after this proposal, right after this proposal, there's conflicting stories, but it's said that the couple, for whatever reason, was having an argument, which was observed by others, and this argument led them to being separated at the Zuri Zanzibar Resort Hotel in Tanzania. And it led them to being separated. And there's a lot of unclear messaging in this part of the story because it's not really clear who separated them. We know it was the hotel staff, but which of the staff separated them? What exactly led to them being separated? What was the argument about? What was going on? In which part of the hotel were they separated? And there's conflicting stories because other people have reported seeing them being, Joe being separated from Ashlee. But then there's reports saying that they were both separated. So there's a lot of conflicting statements here that makes it a little bit confusing. This is all taking place in Africa. So, on a whole different part of the world. And all we have is broken up pieces of information to describe this overall story. And just like a bad movie, there are plot holes. So the two get split up for whatever reason. And later on, it is revealed that Ashlee is now not alive anymore. For whatever reason, whatever happened, which is something we're not completely entirely sure of, Ashlee is no longer alive after this separation at the hotel. So there's one part, okay, did he do it? Which, according to what has happened and transpired after the events, it's looking like, I'm no investigative agent. I don't, that's not my job, but from the information that's been revealed so far, this guy is making himself, if anything, he's helping himself look like like he did it. So these two are separated. Ashlee is found, I'm assuming by someone, a staff of the hotel, and she has marks around her neck, which indicates that she has somehow been strangled, suffocated. In which way, we're not sure, but the officials there ruled her death as a suicide. So that's when the strange part that's when it becomes really strange, because why would this woman, who is a social media influencer and a blogger and a vlogger and has this big social media following, and it was just her 31st birthday. She is getting married, presumably for, I'm thinking maybe the first time. I'm not sure. I haven't researched into her past marriages or relationships, so I'm not sure. But she's getting married to this guy who presumably has this large amount of wealth, and he's willing to spend all of this money on her and take her out to do these extravagant, amazing things and have this great food and top tier airlines transport them from here to Africa as they're on the safari. So then you start to think, why would she have taken her own self off of this earth, given these things that, in a general sense, someone who is in her situation is unlikely to be taking themselves away. So then the eyes turn towards Joe. And what was Joe doing? The thing that makes Joe McCann look very suspicious is the fact that not only was Ashlee found with marks around her neck indicating that she has been in some way suffocated, but from his hands or not, I don't know. But he also waits a whole 11 hours after this incident to tell the woman's family, to call them and tell them what happened. So why is he waiting all of this period of time to reveal to the woman's family that he proposed to her? They've been together for over a year, so that he must know the family. They must have some communication or contact. So why would he wait 11 hours before he decides that it's time to tell them what happened? And then when he reveals the information, from the reports, it seems so vague, as in something happened to your daughter and she's in the hospital now because she did something to herself. Seems kind of weird that if you've been dating someone for the last year plus, you know their family, you know it's their birthday recently, you know they have a huge social media following, you are the one who's paying for them to go all the way across the world to have this extravagant birthday slash proposal date, but you wait 11 hours to call the family and then that's it? There's no explanation. There's no more than that. But of course, there's more to that than what has been revealed so far. And more is coming out. So this guy is from current reports, he is in a jail. He at first the officials were going to clear him of his potential wrongdoing, meaning he was not being seen as a suspect, but due to so much outcry from here in the States, and I'm sure other parts of the world and really online, you could be from anywhere, many people have voiced that they are extremely concerned with the way these events transpired. And honestly, we all believe that it was Joe McCann who is the reason for Ashlee not being here anymore. What were those reasons? What led up to it? Who really knows? This guy works with this crypto company, and I have followed the crypto industry and the crypto game for the past few years, and I have seen crypto and finances, losing money and gaining money alike, completely ruin people, drive them crazy. Some of the people who I thought were on top of their game when it comes down to the crypto space, I thought these were like the top dogs. I've seen some of them fall in the absolute worst ways. I'm talking about people with millions and millions of dollars who have succumbed to some sort of craziness, even with all of that money. As a matter of fact, the money seems like the more money people tend to get, the more it drives them crazy. Did he lose a ton of money and maybe in a fit of rage, he took it out on Ashlee? Was something uncovered by Ashlee? Maybe that this guy was a scam artist and really doesn't have all the money that he says that he does. Did she uncover that and then maybe bring it to his attention and he didn't like that, so that's what led to it? Or did she, which is the most unlikely thing, did she really decide to take herself off of this earth shortly after her birthday, shortly after her proposal, shortly after having a great time with all of these animals walking around in this beautiful setting at what I'm assuming is probably a really upper class hotel at the Zanzibar resort? Did she that's another option. Did she really do that? I don't think that she did. If you know anything about human psychology, and if you just look at this woman, now people are going through things. People with the biggest smiles are known to sometimes have the heaviest things on their heart. However, the vibe's not really there with this one in regards to that. And I think most people are following what their gut is telling them. And that is the report that initially came out saying that she was the cause of her own demise is very likely untrue. So as of now, this guy, Joe, at first the story it's still unclear. There's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to this story. And I know more and more is going to come out as the days go by. But from what I know now, he went from being not seen as a suspect to now he's actually being seen as a suspect out there in Tanzania and Africa. And I'm not sure what's going to transpire from here, but I know the family is not going to just let the passing of their daughter go like this, as I would not if I was in their situation. The internet is not going to let this go. People around Ashlee, her friends, her followers, people who have been following her story, they're not going to let this go. And the crazy part is, you look at her, if you follow her story, I actually went to Threads, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about the history. And all of her previous messages, all her previous posts were very happy, uplifting. She seemed like she was having a good time. She seemed like she was happy to be with Joe, with her partner. She seemed like she was really just living this sort of fairy tale life. And when you look at all that, even her last post, she says something along the lines of, "I'm exactly where I need to be." And ironically enough, she posted that right before her end. That just kind of shows the irony of life sometimes. As another side note, right when you think everything is so great, could be the very moment when things come crashing down. So as of now, this guy, Joe, he has deleted a lot of his information off of his socials. There's still a lot of, stuff up on his Twitter account from the past and whatnot. You can go and check that out. His venture capitalist website, let's see, it's called Asymmetric Financial, which is he's the CEO of. The website for that is still up. There's no official statement, but it's just so weird how this guy, I'm not sure at this moment where his whereabouts are, but there's been no post afterwards, after he was seen as not being a suspect. There's been no bit of update on information as far as his commentary on the situation. There's nothing from him. The family, the only thing that they've heard from him is that your daughter is in the hospital because she did something to herself. But there are no other words from this man. So right now, everyone can only assume what is likely the case. Now, in doing a bit more research in this story, I see that Ashlee is a black female and Joe is a white male. And the funny thing is, you look online, and I really had not thought about this conversation. I mean, clearly see that they're an interracial couple, but I didn't think much of it. I've been in interracial partnerships in the past. Not a big deal. But if you look online, I guess Ashlee has made some small commentary in the past about, in regards to her being like with the white man and kind of making black men took this as her messaging as like an insult, as if she's like happy with her white man and, to it with all the black guys out there. So there's a lot of commentary from a lot of black men who did not like what she said in the past. And now that she has passed away, are taking this moment, taking advantage of this opportunity to use her story as a way to say, well, this is what happens when you date outside of your race. This is what happens. These are the consequences when you partner with a white male, a white partner. And the same can go if you're, a white, if it's opposite, if you're a white male or female and dating like a black partner, from the other end. So people were making this a big deal, dating outside of your race, dating specifically black people, dating outside of their race, as far as, with white, which again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but people online are having a field day about this. There's so many comments that I came across in so many videos of black men using this as sort of a way to say, see, this is what happens when you don't want to bring a black man into your life, but you accept whiteness instead. Which is crazy because the chances are you're not going to see any other white men making these types of videos, but the commentary coming from a lot of black men kind of proves and shows maybe why she didn't want to be with black men. Maybe if this is the type of animosity that this woman maybe felt from other black men in her life, and maybe she felt some type of way about black men in the past, the commentary after her passing kind of proves maybe why she felt the way that she did. Because again, I guarantee there's probably not going to be any other white guys that are going to make these sort of videos shaming Ashlee for her partner choices. And if they are, they're probably gay or just making a video like I am, but not choosing this moment, knowing that this woman's family is grieving, knowing that people are grieving over her passing. They're not going to take this moment and make this thing out of it as if it's like their moment to shine and say, told you so. So I'm seeing a lot of that, which there is a video on YouTube by another commenter, Jessie Wu, I believe is how you pronounce it. She dives deeper into this and shows some of the videos of what I'm talking about. I highly check out her deep dive breakdown of the situation because she's gone deep enough into it. And I think just referencing her video is says enough. And she also talks more on this subject, but the whole situation brings up a couple of conversations that I'm sure need to be had, obviously, but it also, over anything, rest in peace to Ashley Robinson, to Ashlee Jenae, because this senseless, whatever happened to her, I do not believe that it was due to actions of her own doing. Was it Joe? Was it someone else in the hotel? Was it the hotel staff? Was it someone who was angry that they saw this black woman with her white counterpart and took action themselves and did something while they were separated? Because that's also a possibility. It looks like it's Joe. It looks like it's him. But then again, if you look at it from his perspective, he just proposed to this woman. He's taking her out for her birthday. In a way, it looks like it's like a movie. It's like the perfect way to set up your partner to have them taken out and think you're going to get away with it. But if you look at it also, if you act like he's innocent and you look at it from the viewpoint of he's taking her out, doing all of these things, spending all his money, it's, unless he's a complete sociopath, psychopath, why would you go through this extent? Why would you go to the extent of doing all this for someone, knowing their family, having dated them all this time? You've never done this before, but you choose, after dating for over a year and being together and doing all these fancy things, you choose a few days right after you propose to this person as the day that you're going to take them out. That's also kind of weird. Again, it works perfect for a book, for a film, for a story. And these things have happened in real life. So I'm not excusing the possibility of it, but I'm also not going to say that it wasn't some other person who might have seen the couple. Maybe they knew Ashlee online. Maybe she had a stalker. Maybe someone on the resort knew who she was and they saw her, and just like a lot of black men are making this video saying, see, I told you, obviously having some pent up frustration that this black woman is dating this white man, maybe someone saw them getting married. They're all the way in Africa. And if you watch the video by Jessie Wu, she breaks down how, especially in Tanzania, but in parts of Africa and really all over the world, because women are getting taken out left and right all over the place, especially black women. There's statistics to prove that. And if you watch the video by Jessie, and I will post a little image now so you can see which page I'm talking about, she breaks down how women are literally being, in Africa especially, are being taken out in a bad way and it's just like swept under the rug, like it's like almost something as like a socially acceptable thing, DV against women. Like it's like okay in a way, and it happens so often that I think the authorities, they just won't really deal with it or take it seriously when these things are happening to a woman. In many societies historically and currently, women have not had the same rights as men when it comes down to violence against them, or when reports are made and instances happen, it's the man's side who's usually taken into account and the woman is disregarded. These instances, this reality for women is a very real reality. And I think it can be hard for a man to really see or acknowledge that. But then when you're dealing, it's already bad enough here in the US, but then when you're looking at other countries and then you look at their statistics, you can see that women really do not have the upper hand in many situations. And it allows for men to take advantage of that situation and that system and get away with whatever it is that, whatever it is that has happened. So this guy, Joe, has supposedly all of this money at his expense. And so it makes you wonder, there's another possibility. If someone else didn't do it and he did do it, did he maybe pay the hotel staff? Did he maybe pay officials in Tanzania to excuse him, even though these circumstances have taken place? So maybe he did something. He's like, hey, here's some money if you just keep your mouth shut. So to Ashlee's family, I really do hope that you, before anyone gets all the answers that you need, so that you can't be brought whole because there's something missing. Your loved one is missing and there's no taking that back. But I hope that at least given the circumstances, you can find out what happened and know the factual information in the way that you need to start moving towards closure. So I'm very sorry to the family that is going through this, and to Ashlee, because I know she was having a great time. I remember I was turned 31 a few years ago, and it was a great year for me. And I remember turning 31, and it was just my birthday recently. Even now I turned 34 now, and I think about how my year is going to look, how my next few years are going to look. But then you just don't know when some circumstance is going to turn that around. And so given that information, we are going to now move forward into looking at some of the commentary that I've found online. And we're going to start out with the statement provided by Ashlee's family. And here we go right here. This is dated April 12th, 2026. Ashlee Robinson was on what should have been one of the happiest trips of her life, a birthday celebration in Zanzibar, Africa. Ashlee's birthday was April 5th. She just turned 31. Surrounded by beauty, love, and wildlife, she became engaged during a safari, an unforgettable moment that marked the start of a future she was so excited to build. She and her fiancé, Joe McCann, were staying in a luxury villa at the Zuri Zanzibar, continuing what we believed was her dream trip. But just days later, the dream turned into our family's worst nightmare. Ashlee was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to a local hospital where her death was confirmed hours later. Nothing about this loss feels real. One moment she was celebrating love and life in truly Ashlee fashion, and the next she was gone. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made this tragedy even more overwhelming for our family. At this time, there's an active investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ashlee's suspicious passing. Although we have many questions, we are placing our trust in the officials of Zanzibar and are working closely with them as we seek clarity and answers. Ashlee was deeply loved. She was vibrant, full of life, and had so much ahead of her. Our family is completely devastated, and we appreciate the prayers and compassion we have received as we navigate this unimaginable loss. We respectfully asked that any information not directly provided by our family be treated as unverified and not considered factual at this time. Robinson and Indra's family. So that's a message from the family. That was what we have so far. As I stated earlier, there's no telling exactly what the truth is of the entire scenario. And as the family has asked, making guesses is probably not the best way to go about figuring out what actually happened. So with that being said, we're going to look at some comments that I found online provided by random voices of the internet. From Savannah Britt, who is supposedly one of Ashlee's good friends. She says, "We need justice for my friend Ashlee Jenae, who was found dead in her hotel in Tanzania, and her fiance Joe McCann claims she hung herself. Anyone who knows Ash knows she would never commit S. We need answers now. You are indeed going down, you bald head. There will be justice. The law won't handle you. Somebody will. You posted this knowing your wife was dead. Weird. Jail immediately. Posting like your fiance didn't just die is a red flag, sir. You're a coward and God will punish you. You will not get away with this. No matter how much time has passed, what you did will haunt you for eternity. You will never return to your normal life ever again. You're being accused of murder. WTH. Why are you not heartbroken, crying in bed, being depressed, not able to take a shower or eat? Why are you on Twitter doing business? The femicide is huge globally. We talk about it as if it doesn't happen here on US soil and it's only an issue in other countries. This is me speaking as a West African. If you mix the fact that African authorities are easily persuaded by a couple of bucks, the lack of rights for women in some African countries, and the white worship that tends to happen in some African countries due to a colonial mindset, it's going to be really hard to get this woman justice. I don't think this man was oblivious to any of these facts before taking her there to propose. Just my 2 cents. I hate how the internet is making it only a black-white thing, as if black men don't kill us too. This is a man versus woman thing. Men have lacked protecting us, women, generation after generation after generation. Women and children are amongst the most hated when it should be the opposite. Loved and protected. He killed her in the motherland. I assure you, spiritually, he will know no peace for the rest of his days. Yep, flew her out to Africa, proposed to her on the trip, and she ended up dead the same day. I read he hid it for 2 weeks and continued posting online. Probably to make the optics look better. He would be the grief-stricken fiance who tragically lost his bride-to-be. Whoa, what the... I need Rotten Mango to do an entire YouTube deep dive on this. How absolutely horrific. May her soul find the light, and may her ancestors gently guide her soul through to the other side. Amen.